Babies, infants, toddlers, kids, and teenagers. It's a lot, right? We're gonna tackle all of that in this video. Hi, hey, hello, my name is Sarah, and welcome back to The Sims 4 for beginners. If you're brand new to The Sims, maybe you're not quite sure on how to do things in the game yet, I am here to teach you all of the things, and today we're going to be looking at the journey of having a family. Alright, here we have the happy couple Leon and Natalie Bullock. They are married, they have an excellent relationship as we can see right here. They are fully friendly and they are fully romantic, and they have decided they'd like to take the plunge into parenthood today. So how do we have a baby is the first question. Well, it's the same as in real life, except they call it something different. So in The Sims, it's called woohoo. It's always been called woohoo. So with that being said, how do you woohoo in The Sims 4? Well, again, kind of the same as in real life. We have a bed here, and if I get Leon to click on this bed, immediately we've got the options to woohoo with Natalie come up, but we also have the option to try for baby with Natalie. So here we go. I can't believe we're actually about to watch them, but we're gonna watch them. Hey, this is educational purposes right here. Educational. So this is what woohooing looks like in The Sims 4. We do have this very fancy music playing, and we have these little love hearts, as you can see.
Boy.
Alright, the fireworks symbolizes that we've reached the end of the time there. That's fine. So they have just tried for baby. So now we have a couple of options. We need to be keeping an eye on Natalie, obviously, to see whether she's pregnant. It's not going to immediately come up and say that she's pregnant. We have options though. We can either wait a sim day and see if she starts to feel uncomfortable, maybe have some interesting uncomfortable moodlets that might suggest that she's pregnant. Or if you want to know right now, like I do, just like in real life, our Sims can take a pregnancy test. If we click on the toilet, we do have take pregnancy test. It costs 15 simoleons. We can do that. So I'm going to get Natalie to come and do that right now because I just need to know if she's pregnant. Thank you very much. And with the throw of that confetti and streamers, we do have this message that says eating for two. Congratulations, Natalie is expecting. There's going to be a new addition to this household. So we do also see Natalie does have a little bump. Sims immediately get a little bump, and as they progress through the pregnancy, that bump will get bigger and they'll start to do like the pregnancy waddle. Also, throughout their pregnancy, we'll notice that Natalie's needs are going to decline quicker. Things like her hunger and her energy, even her bladder, are going to decline quicker, much like they do in real life, right? So down here we do have the pacifier, otherwise known as a dummy in Australia. We call it a dummy, and it says eating for two from trying for baby. It is thrilling to discover a life growing inside you. So pregnant, second trimester in 24 hours. And this is how we keep track of how far along Natalie is in her pregnancy. At the moment, she's first trimester. The first trimester lasts for 24 hours, same with the second trimester and even the third trimester. So your Sim is going to be pregnant for 4 in-game days. Okay, so also take note of the time at which she got pregnant because it was probably about 11:15, right, in the morning. At 11:15 on the 4th day is when she's going to go into labor. So we can also adopt a baby as well if you call the adoption agency, again, in that home panel of the phone. Adopt a child for 1,000 simoleons. You can do that. And then also in the home panel in the phone, you have the option to have a science baby or have a science baby as a single parent. What that basically means is they're going to go to a lab and they're going to come home with a baby, okay? That's what's going to happen, all right? You miss the whole pregnancy segment. You just go to a lab and you come home with a baby. With that being said, we're just going to go about our day-to-day life now that we know that she is pregnant. Just going to keep going on doing what we do until we reach second trimester. So now the moodlet says pregnant second trimester from trying for baby. Natalie is well into her pregnancy now and excited to be a mother. Pregnant third trimester in 24 hours. So her bump has definitely grown. It looks a bit funny. Depending on the clothes that your Sims are wearing, it can look really weird. Okay, the Sims clothing is known for being a little bit funky at times depending on your Sims fluctuation in weight and the type of clothing. Like this shirt is a bit weird, but look at this bump. That is a big bump second trimester. So she is seeing the changes to her body that you would generally associate with pregnancy. Totally fine. She's also thinking about a baby because obviously, yes, you would be thinking about a baby, right? But then you hit third trimester, and third trimester is when things start to get really serious. Like, we will have already by this point seen an increase in the decline of Natalie's needs, her hunger, her bladder, and her energy. But third trimester is when it's going to decline rapidly. Your sim is going to be very tired very quickly, very hungry very quickly, and definitely need to use the toilet more often. With third trimester, we do have pregnant third trimester from trying for baby. The sim is nearly full term, more than ready to have this kid and be done with it already. And we do have give birth in question mark, because after this moodlet expires, which is going to be at 11:15 tomorrow morning, she's going to go into labor. Also, have a look at this bump now. It is huge. It is gigantic. She is ready to pop. Definitely seeing more of the physical changes that come with pregnancy. And then you've just got to sit and wait and keep an eye on that moodlet, because like all of the other moodlets that Natalie has here, and I can even give you an example with this one, feeling a close connection, very soon this moodlet is going to start blinking because it's about to expire. So when a moodlet is close to expiring, it starts blinking like it is now, letting you know it's almost there. The same thing will happen with the pacifier or the dummy, depending on what you call it, when we are about to go into labor, when that is about to expire. So at the moment, we can see that we do have 2 arrows appearing on the pacifier. That is because as time wears on, we are getting more pregnant, I suppose, is the best way to put it. So now we've just got to wait until that pacifier starts flashing. And also just take a look at her mood really quickly. You can see for the bladder and the hunger, we have 2 red arrows going down. That does mean that they are declining quicker than perhaps her social, her hygiene, and her fun, because they are only going down by 1 arrow, whereas the bladder and the hunger are constantly going down by 2, meaning they are going down faster than the other needs. And you will have even noticed, just as I'm talking, you will have seen how quickly those levels are dropping. Energy, interestingly enough, is not dropping by 2, it's only dropping by 1. I thought it would have also dropped by 2. So just keeping on track of our Sims' needs, especially at this time in their pregnancy, because they are going to need more attention than they would normally. So while we are waiting to have the end of the pregnancy come, we should probably look at furnishing a kid's bedroom. This house does come with a fully equipped kid's bedroom, but we're going to need some different furniture that we do not have currently to accommodate a baby, okay? So if we come into build mode, you can see we have the teddy bear option, we've got the kids room, and we're going to have a look at some kids furniture by clicking on this bed. Now, things that are necessary are bassinet, right? This is the Rockabye bassinet. Now, one can be automatically generated when our Sims go into labor, but you can also just buy one from build by mode, and I think I will right now. We do also have this bassinet, which is newer actually, the wicker work bassinet. We didn't originally have this one. Maybe I'll go with this one instead. So we do have a bassinet now. For a baby, that's all the furniture we're going to need, okay? We don't need toys or anything for a baby. Babies are very much just tied to their bassinet. They don't have a whole lot of gameplay, but we're going to get into that very soon. Look, the pacifier is flashing. We're about to go into labor. It's very exciting. There we go. And as you can see, she's breathing and she's holding her belly. She is feeling uncomfortable. Leon is freaking out because, yes, Natalie has gone into labor. She is bursting with anticipation to meet her new bundle of joy. That's the message that we've got here. The moodlet now says pregnant in labor from trying for baby. It's go time. Now, you've got options because, as you can see by this moodlet, it's going to last for 3 hours. So if you decide to do nothing for 3 hours and let Natalie suffer in horrific pain for that entire time, she will then, once that moodlet expires, have the baby all on her own, right? Okay, so that is an option. You don't have to do anything. She will eventually have the baby on her own. But if you want to put her out of her suffering, I mean, she's suffering quite badly. Like, have a look at her right now. Oh my goodness, she's doing the breathing. She's having contractions. Click on Natalie, you'll see we've got the option to have baby and have baby at the hospital. Having a baby will mean she's going to have the baby at home. She's going to go over to the bassinet that we have placed and she's going to stand in front of it and she's going to have the baby there. If you have not placed a bassinet, one will automatically spawn in, and again, she's probably going to stand in front of it and have the contractions and then have a baby. Having a baby at the hospital means she's actually going to leave the house. She's going to go to a hospital and have a baby. We're not going to be able to follow her in the base game though. I want to have a baby though, not at the hospital. So I'm going to click have baby, and you see Natalie, she's waddling over. She's got the pregnant waddle. Natalie is having a baby, it says. We're going to have some magical lullaby sounding music play. And as you can see, Natalie, she's contracting, she's going through it, she's doing the breathing. We do have this little ring around this interaction here that says have baby. Once that ring completes, we're gonna find out what we're having, okay? Oh my goodness, congratulations, Natalie just gave birth to a baby boy. This baby needs a name. What would you like to call him? We have the option to randomize a name if you can't think of a name, or we can type in any name that you like. The last name will be Bullock. I'm just gonna randomize a name. Let's see, what are we gonna come up with? You know what? Bob came up. And I think I'm just going to have to name our child Bob. I'm so sorry. Names that you don't associate with babies, even though every person alive that is named Bob or every person alive that is named like Keith was a baby at one point with that name. It just kind of makes me laugh. Just names that you don't associate with babies. Anyway, Bob Bullock, welcome to the family. Baby born, Natalie and Leon had a baby, and there's Bob. So very good and exciting. So let's take a look because some things have changed, right? Down where we have Leon and Natalie's icons, we now have Bob's icon as well. We can't click on him to see his needs, kind of like babies in real life. They can't tell us what they need. We have to guess based on context clues what they might need. We're going to eventually come across that as well, but let's just have a look at little Bob. Ah, cute. So other things that has changed, you will see Natalie no longer has her pregnant belly. She's gone immediately back to the body she had before. She may have gained a little bit more weight than she was before she was pregnant. That happens with pregnancy, so that's very realistic. So also our moodlet has changed from being uncomfortable in labor to new baby from new baby. No moment in a Sim's life is more joyous than the birth of a child. And you'll see that Leon also has the exact same moodlet because they are both going through this parenting stuff together. But we have had a baby boy, Bob Bullock. Now, when it comes to babies, like I mentioned before, they are tied to this bassinet. They don't have any interactions outside of this bassinet. So eventually, Bob's going to start crying. He's going to tell us that he needs something, and we're going to have to tend to his needs. So that's the reason why I put the bassinet in the bedroom, so that when Natalie and Leon are asleep and Bob starts crying, the crying is going to wake them up from their sleep, meaning that they will then be able to care for Bob. So at the moment though, Bob is happy. We can tell that by the green around his little portrait here. That color will change when he is doing things. For example, when he's sleeping, it will completely gray out behind him. That happens when all of our Sims are asleep. When Bob needs to be fed though, or needs his nappy changed, or maybe just wants to have a cuddle or a little play with one of the parents, his portrait will change to a dark blue color behind him, meaning that he is sad and we need to do something to make him feel better. The next thing I should mention about babies though is how long Bob is going to be a baby for. If we take a look at the calendar, we can see that Bob is actually going to have his birthday tomorrow. I'm playing on normal lifespan. You can change that in settings, and changing it to a short lifespan means that your Sims are going to age quicker and their life is going to happen very quickly for them, pretty much. If we were playing on a short lifespan, Bob would be aging up into an infant today. If we play on a longer lifespan, it means that it's going to take a while for your Sims to age, meaning we would have more time with Bob as a baby. But as it stands on a normal lifespan, you have 1 day with a newborn baby before they age up into an infant. So up until tomorrow, we've just got to make sure that our little baby boy's needs are all taken care of. See, now Bob here is asleep. So cute. Look at him asleep in his little bassinet there. And you can see that the icon, the color behind his little icon down here is grayed out because he is asleep. Now, importantly, you don't have to wait until like your baby is crying to interact with it. If you want to play with your child, you can. I just want to show you what it looks like when he's upset. So right on cue, Bob. Thank you so much for that. So now we can see that Bob is unhappy, right? He's flailing about. We can hear that he's crying. And if we take a look at his little picture down here, his little icon, it has the blue behind it. So we need to figure out what is wrong is the issue. Now, if we click on Bob, we have all of these options that come up here, but I'm going to go into more options and baby care. If he has a wet nappy or a wet diaper, as it says here, change diaper, because this is an American game. In Australia, we call them nappies, so I'm probably going to call it a nappy just out of instinct. I do apologize. If your baby's nappy needs to be changed, he will have a stink cloud coming off of him, kind of like our Sims do when they have low hygiene, and that's how you're going to know that he's going to need a nappy change. It will also say change dirty diaper in here, which is why I always immediately go into more options and baby care first to see whether it says change dirty diaper. If it doesn't say change dirty diaper, then we can probably take a guess that he's going to need to be fed. Now, we do have multiple options when Natalie feeds him compared to when Leon feeds him. Obviously, we can choose whether she's going to breastfeed or bottle feed, just like in real life. I'll show you what both look like. Because we have Natalie here, let's just have a look at breastfeeding little Bob here. Of course, there is no nudity in The Sims 4, so we do have it censored out, but this is what it looks like to breastfeed. And now we can see that Bob's icon has changed back to green. He's no longer feeling sad because we have cured what was making him sad. He was hungry, although it's just changed to blue again. So I have a feeling that maybe now he's going to need to have a nappy change. We'll have a look in just a second as Natalie finishes there. Now she's holding him. If we click on the bassinet and go more options into baby care, now it says change dirty diaper. So we're going to do that really quickly, which all gets done in the bassinet. Fantastic. And now he's happy again. Look at the little cutie pie. And when that has happened, you can see we now have this dirty nappy on the floor. This diaper trash, as it says. It's going to be really stinky. We can put that in the bin. We can either click on it and have Natalie throw it away, or if maybe your Sims are busy, you can also click on it and we can drag it to a bin, which we have this bin just outside. I can click and drag it, and that's going to put the nappy straight in the bin. The same thing will happen with baby bottles. If you feed a baby with a bottle, the bottles will then just appear on the ground and they'll get stinky, ready to be thrown away. I might get Leon to come in and do some social interactions with them, talking or rocking or cuddle, make a silly face. All of these things can help cure their social need, because that is another reason that they can cry. So if you have fed your baby, if you have changed their nappy and they are still upset, they're probably going to need to have a social interaction. So I'm going to have maybe a cuddle with Bob, a bounce, maybe a rock with Bob as well. I'm going to get Leon to come and do those things. I love the baby talk because we all do it.
Oh, they go now.
We all do the baby talk to babies. Don't tell me that you don't do it. Very cute. Just very wholesome vibes right there, and I love it. Thank you. All right, at 11:03 p.m. you will see Bob is crying. Although he's not crying anymore, because it appears that Natalie is going to go and bottle feed him. That's totally fine. She just autonomously did that. I didn't have to tell her to do that. She heard him crying. She went, yep, I'm going to feed him. And that is what cured his sad mood. So Leon's going to go back to sleep because he's no longer crying. And we're going to be able to take a look at what bottle feeding looks like.
Bonkara. Wrangler.
There we go. He is all sorted. So now Natalie can go back to bed. And there we do have the bottle on the floor, like I mentioned before, waiting to just go into the bin. All right, but at the dawn of a new day, 8 a.m., we have just changed little Bob's nappy. If we take a look at the calendar, today is the day that Bob can become an infant. He's going to be exiting his baby stage, his newborn stage, and entering the infant stage. So he's going to be slightly older, and we're going to be able to and need to interact with him more, okay? So we have options. We can choose to wait until he ages up on his own. He will eventually age up on his own, or if you just go, you know what, I'm ready to age him up right now, we can do that too. So if we have Leon, click on the bassinet and go baby care, we can age him up. So let's do that real quick. Let's have this baby age up into an infant. Taking a photo because that's very cute. And there we go. Bob has aged up. Infants, a world of discovery, communication, and play is waiting to be attained. Okay, so we have the option to choose a trait that Bob is going to have for his infant life, or we can randomize it if you like. Let's take a look at these traits though really quickly. So these are all things that are exclusive to infants themselves. So toddlers can't have these traits, children and teenagers cannot have these traits, adults cannot have these traits, only infants. So having a look, Cautious here says, these Sims appreciate the familiar but are slow to warm up to new experiences, locations, and Sims. So this one, Sensitive, says, these Sims are prone to diaper rash, are often picky with food, and can more easily become overstimulated by too much play and social interaction. However, they also rest more peacefully through the night when soothed. This one, Calm, says these Sims like to watch the world, are less likely to cry or become angry, and don't grow tired of activities as easily as other infants. However, they are less likely to explore the world on their own. Intense says these Sims have big emotions and are easily entertained, but they are also more difficult to calm when in a bad mood. Wiggly says these Sims are always on the go and want to play and move about. However, they often struggle to fall asleep or pay attention for extended periods of time. And then there is Sunny. These Sims are bursting with smiles and giggles and enjoy engaging with other Sims, but they do require more social attention. So these traits are personality traits for our infants, and they all have pros and cons towards your baby. They all have struggles, things that are going to be a struggle and things that are going to be a little bit easier in raising these Sims, because that's what parenthood is. With that being said, I'm not going to choose, I'm going to randomize a trait. Let's see what trait Bob is going to be, and I just have a feeling it's going to be intense. Oh, Cautious, I'll take that. So Bob is going to appreciate the familiar, but is going to be slow to warm up to new experiences, locations, and Sims. So we're going to have a little bit of an interesting time with Bob, but that is totally fine. I'm going to click this tick. And there is Bob, and you can see he's free from the bassinet, totally fine. So having a look down at our little family icons down here, Bob now is an infant. He is a cutie patootie. He is fine, as we can see, because now that he is an infant, we can click on him and we can see what his needs are, because he's at this stage where he's going to be able to start expressing what his needs are, kind of like in real life. In babies and infants, they get to a point where they're able to maybe not tell you I'm hungry or I'm tired, but their behavior will tell you what they are feeling, okay? Look at Bob, he's sitting up like a total cutie patootie, right? But now that he has aged up into an infant, we're going to need to get some different furniture for him. We can sell the bassinet that we have here because we're not going to need that anymore. And I'm actually going to come over into the kids' bedroom that I have here, and we're going to give it some updated furniture. I'm going to move that bed into our inventory. A lot of the furniture that we have here are for child Sims. We don't have anything for toddlers or for an infant either, because when the base game first came out, toddler Sims did not exist and infant Sims did not exist. When you had a baby, the baby went from being a newborn baby to a child with no in between. And when you see what a child Sim looks like, you're gonna understand how ridiculous that is. So we thankfully now have more life stages that are accurate to real life and to a child in their progression of life, from going from a newborn to an infant to a toddler to a child, okay? And infants were only released maybe 2 years ago, so they're very new to The Sims 4, but toddlers have been around for a little while. But we are going to need some more furniture. So I'm going back into the kids' room and back into kids' furniture, and we're going to grab maybe this Blandco contemporary crib. I'm going to grab that because I know that we have a little baby boy. I'm going to get it in a blue swatch. Other furniture that we can get is things like a high chair. Now I'm probably just going to get this Kinder-Made classic high chair. It has some pretty cute swatches, right? I'm going to get this blue one. Now we can put a high chair up to a table. You see it immediately snaps to the table, so we can pop it there so that Bob can eat his meals with his parents. That is so cute. Now I do need to talk a little bit more about infants. In the base game, caring for an infant is incredibly basic. You'll see that as things stand, Bob is already sitting up on his knees. There is an expansion pack called Growing Together that really really expands upon caring for an infant and teaching your infant things, okay? If you have the Growing Together expansion pack, you have to teach Bob to sit up. He's not just going to be able to sit up straight away. As a matter of fact, you've got to go through a little bit of a process to even be able to have Bob learn to crawl, to have him learn to stand, to have him learn things like grabbing onto things or using pincer grip. Even trying foods in the high chair are all things that you have to work towards, cannot be done immediately with the Growing Together expansion pack. So if you feel like family gameplay is going to be something you're going to really enjoy, I do recommend getting the Growing Together expansion pack just because what we can do with infants in the base game is incredibly basic. There's not really a lot that we can do aside for caring from his needs. We can do things like play peekaboo, read a toddler book, watch Bob bounce with him to work on his social skill. We can give him affection like comforting him and cuddling him. We can have small talk by talking to Bob. Eventually, we're going to need to change Bob's nappy. We can give him a bath when his hygiene gets low. We can give him a nap when his energy gets low. Very excitingly, having a look at Bob here, he is a cutie patootie, right? He's got this gorgeous little hairstyle, this cute little outfit. If you decide you want to change his hairstyle or his clothes, we can do that. We can click on the dresser here and we can plan outfits, okay? And planning outfits is going to take us into Creator Sim, a very basic version of Creator Sim. We're not going to be able to change all of his details like his trait or his gender or his age or anything like that, but we can change his hairstyle. I'm going to give him this hairstyle. It's very, very cute. And then we can have a look at some clothes for him as well. We have a whole heap of different t-shirts. And then we've got some more pants and some more shorts options as well. And then we do have some full body options as well. So things like rompers that you can see here. We've got some rompers. We also have some like overalls. We even have this little tuxedo that is so freaking adorable. So once you're done giving him a cute little new look, we're then going to press the tick down in the bottom right to say that we're done with that. And then we can get back into the game. Look at him. He is so cute. Absolutely adorable. So the next thing I need to look at with you is how long Bob is going to be an infant for. So on the normal life stage, you can see his birthday is actually going to be on Tuesday. You can, of course, decide if you're done with an infant and you want to move on to the next stage, you can age them up early. I probably will do that with Bob, but we need to see a few interactions happen first, I think. Oh, that was cute. He's like, that's my mom. That's what he's thinking in his little baby brain. He's like, Mom, that's adorable. While we've got some time, because we do have some time, I'm going to try feeding Bob in the high chair. What we're going to do, we're going to help Bob try his first baby food, okay? We've got this menu of all of these foods to try. You can try all of them eventually. Bob is going to decide whether he doesn't like the food, he's okay, but he probably won't eat the whole thing, or whether he really likes the food actually. So maybe we'll start with rice porridge because it says smooth, runny and bland for baby. So given that this is the very first solid food that he's trying, we probably don't want to overwhelm him with taste. Maybe just getting the used to a different texture in his mouth would be a good option. So rice porridge is what we're going to try. And then she's going to come over and stand beside him. And we're going to try this rice porridge. Such a cute interaction. Bob was unsure about rice porridge. Maybe this food will need to be explored again. So now if we click on the high chair and we've got help Bob explore food, it's changed from try first baby food because he's tried it for the first time. So now we can help Bob explore food. We can see that rice porridge he's unsure about. If we try again with him, maybe he'll decide whether he likes it or not. But at the moment, he doesn't need to eat. But you can go through and try all of these foods with your infant if you like. But at the moment, he needs to have a little bit of fun. Maybe we can try reading a book to him and see how we go with that. Are we going to do that just standing right here? No worries. Okay, it's fine. I didn't think we were going to do that while he's still in the high chair and we're standing right here, but that's fine. He does seem to be enjoying it. The interaction's a little bit funky because she's standing awkwardly, but he is having fun. We can see his fun need is gaining quite nicely. All right, but we can see now Bob's got a little bit of a pouty look on his face, and if we have a look, he's feeling sad. He has this moodlet here that says rest time from being awake for too long. Infants require regular naps. Bob has been awake for too long and is starting to get cranky. Better put him to bed. So we are going to do exactly that. So what I'm going to get Natalie to do, I'm going to click on the crib here and we're going to put Bob to bed. All right, we can do that. Picking him up out of the high chair, into his bedroom, into his little pajamas. And there we go, we're putting him to sleep. Give him a little kiss. And he's got now this little interaction that says, try, go, night, night. It's not guaranteed that he's going to fall asleep after this ring completes, but more often than not in my experience, that is the case. So we just need to leave him be until hopefully he goes to sleep, all right? This will include some crying, but hopefully he will just eventually nod off once that ring completes. It's just about to. And there we go. Little Bob is now asleep. Very, very cute. So, something I should mention as well, one of the parent sims can actually upgrade this crib, right? It says here if we click on the crib, we have the option to play a lullaby, but it says you must upgrade the crib with a baby mobile, which can be done by the upgrade menu here. We have to wait until Bob is not asleep, but we can add a baby mobile, and once you do that, when you put your infant to sleep, you can then play a lullaby, which will put the infant to sleep like immediately pretty much. So I highly recommend upgrading to have a baby mobile on your crib. I will do that when Bob wakes up. We also have the option for this crib in particular. When Bob becomes a toddler, we can convert this crib into a toddler bed, meaning we don't need to buy a whole separate toddler bed. We can just upgrade what we've got here to be a toddler bed, which is super realistic. A lot of cribs you can buy these days can then be broken down into a toddler bed. Very realistic. But we're going to let Bob have his little nap, all right? Hey, did you know that 71% of you watching right now are not subscribed to my channel? If you'd like to see some fun Sims build videos, some creator sim videos, some Sims challenges, and even some gameplay of The Sims past, then hit the subscribe button and become a member of my wonderful little community of Triceratops. With that being said, let's get back to the video. Now, one thing I'm really quickly going to mention is if your Sims go to work, like both of them are going to work and they leave Bob at home on his own, well, that's not going to happen, right? You can't leave a baby or an infant on their own. So the game will automatically send Bob or your child to daycare. And so that means that their needs are being cared for while your Sims are at work or doing things out of the house. It only happens if it means that the child is going to be completely alone. And when your Sim returns home, the baby or the child will come back from daycare. You can also hire a nanny, but I've never done that before, so I don't even know what's involved with hiring a nanny. You can do that through the phone. If we go into your phone, your Sims phone, and go to the home panel here, scroll all the way down to hire a service, and then scroll all the way down to nanny. So I don't know what's actually involved with hiring a nanny. Maybe the professional Simmers in the comments down below can let us know what happens when you hire a nanny. So I'm really not sure. All right, Mr. Bob, we can see by his icon that he is sad because he is just woken up and he's also using his nappy right now. You saw him do a bit of a fart. That happens. I'm sorry. We're probably going to talk about that. We're probably going to talk about farts and wheeze and poos in this video. I'm sorry. But Bob has woken up. He is sad because he's awakened sad from waking up. Bob is awakened in a sad mood and I can so relate to that, my guy. I can relate to that. So because Bob has just done his business in his nappy, we now have the option, if we click on Bob and go into baby care, we have the option to change his nappy. We can do that really quick. There we go. We changed his nappy just like that. It was super quick and easy, right? All right, so help Bob explore food. Maybe this time we can go with something that has a little bit of a taste to it. Maybe we'll go with some crushed carrots, fluffy with an earthy sweetness. Let's go with some crushed carrots. Let's see if he likes them. There we go. Yay, Bob liked crushed carrots. Successful taste testing. So because he likes this, he's going to eat the whole jar, which is so good. We're going to give Bob a bath now. So if I click on the shower and tub combo that we've got here, and that's something I should mention actually, for infants and for toddlers, you are going to need to have a bath in your house. If you have a house that only has a shower, you're going to need to buy a bath for them in baby care. Yeah, you can clean up as well, but like giving a bath is just like the better experience, right? So I'm going to click on the bath and we are going to give Bob, maybe we'll give him a bubble bath. Let's just give him a bubble bath. Very cute. There we go. So Bob's going to sit in this little chair that he has to sit in the bath. All the bubbles. Look at all the bubbles on his head. So cute. It's a very cute interaction. All right. So while we don't have Bob napping and while Leon has a moment, I'm going to get him to come and install the baby mobile. We've got add baby mobile here. We can do birds or space. I might do space for this one. I always do birds and I've never seen what the space ones look like. So it says add an electronic mobile to the crib that spins and plays a lullaby. Let's do that for 100 simoleons. So Bob also just got a special moodlet from his bubble bath. It says bubbly bath from getting a bubble bath. Bubbles so shiny and pretty. Ooh, and they pop. So cute. He's also feeling well cared for from getting care. Bob loves the care and attention. He can bask contentedly in the glow of prompt service. Love that. There we go. Look at that. That's so cute. Absolutely adorable, this little mobile on the end there. So we got this message to say upgrade completed. The crib now has a baby mobile attached. So now when we put Mr. Bob to bed for the night, we're going to be able to play a lullaby and we can choose between all of the lullabies listed here. Very nice. Look at this. The whole family sitting together. So cute. If you do leave an infant in the high chair for too long, they will get uncomfortable and antsy and want to get out. Kind of like in real life. They just want to get out and do other things instead. Our little guy is tired though, so I think we're going to put him down for the night. So Natalie, we're going to come and put Bob to bed, and then I'm also going to line up a play lullaby and maybe we'll go Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and that should put him to bed pretty quickly. You saw how quick that was. I had no cuts in there or anything. That was completely unedited. He went to sleep so quickly. So I highly recommend doing that upgrade if you can. Oh, 4:17 a.m. is a little bit early, my guy, but he is very hungry. And that brings me to something that I have not mentioned yet. If our babies, our infant, our toddler, even our kids, if their needs are left low, like the hunger need is left low for too long, our children can get taken away from us. Essentially, CPS will be called and the children will be taken away. So you must not neglect your child's needs, okay? So because of that, Miss Natalie, actually Mr. Leon is a little bit more awake. I'm just going to get him to use the toilet really quickly and then we're going to come and feed Mr. Bob. For this one, I think maybe I'm just going to feed him a bottle. Oh, we're playing peekaboo and now he likes it this time because he's a little bit more familiar with it. Oh, so cute. I loved that from Mr. Bob. But when it comes to the time that either we get to our Sim's birthday, our infant's birthday, or it comes to the time where you're ready to explore the next stage of life for your child, we can age them up. In order to age an infant up, you're going to need a birthday cake, unless you're on their birthday day and you let them age up on their own without intervention. Eventually they will all age up. So if you're waiting until that point, they will not require a birthday cake, but they'll be sad that their birthday got missed. So just cook a birthday cake and have your Sim blow out the candles. It's totally fine. So I'm going to get Mr. Leon to add some birthday candles to this cake. And then while we are holding on to Mr. Bob, get Natalie to click on the cake. We can either just have Bob blow out the candles or we can help him blow out the candles. So I'm going to go help blow out the candles. I just think it's so cute to do this little interaction. So happy birthday to Bob. Good job. And now, congratulations, Mr. Bob has aged up into a toddlerino. Toddlers are the next life stage, and this is where parenting really comes more into play. I promise you, we can do more with toddlerinos than we can with infants. So, Bob has aged up. Select a trait to replace his infant trait. Because he's now a toddler, his cautious infant trait is going to be going away, and we have a whole new set of traits that are exclusive to toddlers to choose from. So, let's take a look at them really quickly. So, we've got silly as the first one. Goofy and curious, these toddlers love to tell jokes and get playful. They earn imagination skill slightly faster. We'll get into skills in a minute, but a few of these traits that we're going to be seeing are going to talk about the different skills that toddlers can gain. So then we have angelic, idyllic, easygoing toddlers. They are never defiant and they don't throw a tantrum. They can easily talk to strangers. We have clingy. These shy toddlers avoid sims outside the household and get sad if left behind. They gain extra skill when taught and they recover faster from bad moods when comforted. Charmer toddlers love to socialize. They earn communication skills slightly faster and don't suffer stranger danger from strangers. They can share the love with other sims. Independent toddlers love their freedom and don't like to take orders from caregivers. They gain extra skill when they are left alone and need less attention than other toddlers. Fussy toddlers are tiny troublemakers who love to cry, cause trouble, and throw fits, but being noticed makes them happy and helps them overcome negative moodlets. Wild toddlers are spirited and full of energy. These toddlers love to explore and get energized. They earn movement skills slightly faster. They get sad if they haven't been outside in a while. And lastly, inquisitive are curious toddlers. These toddlers gain thinking skills slightly faster. They are happiest when learning something and sad if they haven't learned anything recently. So we're going to randomize this trait once again and see what kind of toddler we're going to have. Oh, an inquisitive toddler, totally fine. So he's going to gain the thinking skill slightly faster. Now that we have that selected, I'm just going to come back to this screen for a second because we did earn a bonus trait for Bob. Here we have Bob has earned a bonus trait. See all of his bonus traits in the Simology panel. We got the top-notch infant trait from having a good infant life stage for him. Bob is top-notch. This infant has been loved and well cared for, which will help them maintain a positive outlook on life. That's fantastic. So how we raise our children in The Sims 4 can really impact them. The same as you or I, how we were raised by our parents can really impact us as people. So we had a great infant life stage for him, and because of that, he's going to feel great about his life stage and it's going to impact him positively as a person. But we do have this message here now that says toddlers, days spent playing with toys, exploring the world, and learning to communicate with words instead of tears await. This is the perfect time to start skill building for the future because very excitingly, as we now have a cute little toddlerino, they can start learning their own skills. I talked about skills in the last video for adults, but toddlers and upwards can start learning skills themselves. And for toddlers specifically, they have their own set of skills that only apply to them. And before we go any further, I am going to just have a look at changing our Mr. Bob's appearance. All right, so we've got a few more options here. From here on up are all of the toddler hair options that are available in the base games. And then for some outfits for our little toddlerino, for all of the t-shirts and pajama options that we have here that are a part of the base game. Very, very cute, all with different swatches than what I'm showing you here to have a look at. And then we do have some pants, shorts, and even a nappy to match. Very cute. And we do have some full body outfits as well. Very, very cute. Look at the tuxedo. I just do love that. And even this little like wetsuit, adorable. A little robe for him. Oh my goodness, that is so cute. But now that Bob is a toddlerino, again, we're going to need to look at some furniture, right? We're going to need more furniture than what we've got. So heading back into kids' room and back into kids' furniture. Now, having a look at the bedroom we've already got, I did mention that we can upgrade this cot to be a toddler bed, and I will do that. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to have a look at the other toddler beds, we do have the short and stout bed by Kindermaid in a whole heap of very cute swatches. We also have this one, the classic toddler bed, in lots of swatches once again. We have the littlest big bed, which is pretty cute as well. And we do also have the Racer Dreams, which is a race car bed for your toddlers. Absolutely adorable. So we are going to need a potty because as a part of the toddler life stage, we're going to need to teach him how to go potty. So we have a couple of potties on offer here actually. We've got the practice potty, the monster potty partner, and the refined potty chair. We're going to grab this blue one and pop it here next to the toilet, meaning now we can teach him to go potty. Totally fine. Potty is one of the skills that toddlers need to learn, the potty skill. Other skills that our toddler Sims need to learn, we mentioned communication very briefly before, socializing with your Sims. We have this dragon right here, which they can talk to and gain the communication skill. And then on a similar vein to this Drago, the dragon, we have Bluffy here, who's essentially a massive teddy bear that they can talk to as well. We also have Dino, the dinosaur that they can talk to. And then the most expensive option is Uni, the unicorn that they can talk to as well. Other skills that the toddlers need to gain are the thinking skill, which we also briefly mentioned because Bob is going to gain the thinking skill slightly faster. We're going to buy these tiny teacher nesting blocks. You'll see it says supports toddlers, but it also says plus movement skill and plus thinking skill because these nesting blocks can work on the movement skill and the thinking skill for toddlerinos. So I'm going to grab some of those nesting blocks to be able to be played with. And then if we kind of go over all of these other toys that you'll see here, underneath where it says supports toddlers, you'll see plus imagination skill because we can use any of these toys to gain the imagination skill. Very, very good. I might just grab this little koala because, you know, I'm Australian and koalas. Thank you very much. I'm going to grab one of them. We also have things like this dollhouse, right? The Home for Two dollhouse, which for toddlers it says plus imagination skill. We can do that too. They are all of the things that I'm going to buy because we do still have our high chair, so we can use the high chair for our toddler. I think that's all of the furniture I'm going to buy now. It's pretty much just toys, really. So now that we've done that, I'm going to get Leon firstly to come and upgrade this to be converted into a toddler bed. Convert the crib into a toddler bed once your infant ages up. Let's do that. And now here we have Bob. Taking a look at his needs, you'll see he's yellow in the bladder. So we're immediately going to go into potty training him and make the most of this. So I'm going to get Natalie to click on the potty in the bathroom and we're going to potty train Bob. Now having a look here, this is Bob's skills panel here. You can see these are all of the skills: communication, imagination, movement, potty, and thinking. Just like in the skills video for adults, if you hover over each of these skills, it's going to give you a description of the skill, and it's also going to give an icon showing the different ways that we can gain the skill. So sitting on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, you know. He's sitting on that potty though. So while he's doing this, we have this little progress bar around this little try to potty interaction. And you can see above his head, we have this little potty icon to let us know it is the potty skill that's being gained. And the skill bar here is showing us that he is gaining it. Now, for some of these skills, I don't know about all of them, but some of these skills can be gained faster with moods, like the adults. For the imagination skill, it's ideal to have our child be in a playful mood to do that. You can do that by giving them a bubble bath. Giving them a bubble bath will put them in a playful mood, and then having them play with a dollhouse or play with a toy while they're in that playful mood will gain the imagination skill faster. The movement skill can be raised faster by having them in an energized mood. So again, by giving them a bath, just a normal bath, not a bubble bath, that can put them in an energized mood, and then they can gain the movement skill faster. I don't know if there's one for potty, and I'm not sure what the one for communication is, but having your sim be happy gains the thinking skill faster. Oh, but just have a look really quickly. The crib has been converted into a toddler bed. Let's take a look, and so it has. There we go. Very nice. So that's our little guy's bed. So cute. And here we've just got this message to say that Bob has acquired the potty skill. Toilet training makes dirty diapers a thing of the past. Potty skill teaches toddlers to use the potty chair. Improve it by having an adult train the toddler. Now, importantly... a fart. Honestly, importantly, a fart. No worries. This lets us know that Bob is in fact using the potty, as we can see by coming and looking at the bladder here. It's going up. So he's actually using the potty. What a good boy, clever kid. There we go. He did it. He used the potty. He's thinking about it. So unfortunately, he did make a little mess. That happens with potty training, so it's fine. He did get a little moodlet here that says potty accident from using the potty. Bob made a little boo-boo when using the potty and he's pretty upset about it. Oh, Bob, it's totally fine, my guy. You did a good job and I'm proud of you. So now taking a quick look at Bob's little skill list here, we got to 50% of level 1 of Potty, which is very exciting because all of these skills listed here go to level 5 except for Potty. Potty goes to level 3. You don't have to get to level 5 in all of these skills in order to age them up, but the better we do for our toddler sim in learning skills, the more likely we are to get another reward trait for him, another personality trait when he ages up into a child. We just want to teach him all of the things, right? So for Potty though, it goes to level 3, and excitingly for us, it did just mention having a parent teach Potty. When our toddlers get to level 2 of Potty, they can actually go potty on their own. They won't need a parent to help them go potty. It's exciting. But right now, I want to look at the thinking skill. We're only feeling happy for 39 more minutes, maybe. Okay, that's interesting. So I'm going to teach you all the ways to gain the thinking skill, right? So the first one is probably the quickest one. With Bob selected, we're going to click on Natalie. We're going to go into more choices, up into friendly, up into activities, and we can have Bob watch Natalie while she's just interacting with her day-to-day stuff. Bob can watch her, and watching her is going to gain the thinking skill for him. So I'm going to get him to watch her while she's mopping up this puddle, right? I'm going to just line it up a couple times, the watch interaction. And you'll see down here, we have thinking being gained very quickly by how this progress bar is going up, right? Look at how quickly that is going up. This is on normal speed. This is the quickest way to gain the thinking skill. I love doing it, right? So Bob has acquired the thinking skill though. Thinking skill helps toddlers throw fewer tantrums and be more capable of taking care of themselves. It reduces defiance and helps to solve needs. Thinking skill is improved by being curious or by playing with flashcards, nesting blocks, or the tablet. I haven't mentioned the tablet. I will in a second. But that is having him watch to gain the thinking skill. Another thing that we can do is we can click on like these cabinets here, and play in is an option. Playing in these cabinets will also gain the thinking skill for him. It won't be as fast as the watching is, but you can see he's just playing with some pots and pans that he finds in these cabinets. It's very cute. And it is gaining, but it's not gaining anywhere near as fast as watching did. But if you don't have an adult around or someone that he can watch around, it's a little option. He gained a few % of the thinking skill, right? The next way to gain the thinking skill is by playing with these blocks, but you can only do that once you reach level 2 of the thinking skill. So I'm just going to get him to watch Leon now that he's here, and we're going to get to level 2 of the skill very, very quickly, watching it go up as literally Leon is just standing here doing nothing, and Bob is able to watch Leon and gain the thinking skill super quickly. Even when Bob is feeling sad, it is still going up very quickly. There we go. We've just got Bob to level 2 of the thinking skill. It says Bob can now study shapes on the nesting blocks. He also defies less often, which is amazing. He's feeling happy again because he learnt something new from being inquisitive. Oh, a new skill means more wonderful things are sure to come. Good job, my guy. Now that we are at level 2, we can play shapes here, which will gain the thinking skill. We can see it by the little nesting blocks icon here. Or he can ask for help with shapes from one of his parents if he wants to. I'm just going to get him to play them on his own though. And you'll see because he's in a happy mood, the green haze around the skill bar means he's gaining the thinking skill faster, which is amazing. And we do have the little nesting blocks icon above the skill bar to let us know it is the thinking skill that is being gained. Another way to gain the thinking skill that was mentioned before is the flashcards. So I'm going to click on Bob. We're going to go more options, friendly, activities, and we're going to go flashcards and teach basic needs. We can see here it's got the nesting blocks icon here, meaning it gains the thinking skill. We're going to teach him basic needs with the flashcards.
Yibs!
You did it! That was broccoli, and he said it in Simlish, as indicated by the yibs. Very cute. Such a cute little interaction from Mr. Bob. One more way to gain the thinking skill is by some options that you can click on through a Toddlerino's eyes. They have the option to say, "What's that?" They'll go and they'll look at the item and it does gain the thinking skill slightly. It's very, very small. I do feel like watching really is the easiest and quickest way to gain the thinking skill for your Toddlerinos. Wriggling right along though, we might take a look at the communication skill next. So I did mention we do have this little dragon toy here. If we click on that, we have the option to babble at him. I'm just going to line this up a couple of times until he gets to communication level 2. Absolutely adorable. So, it is the happy mood that gains the communication skill as well. Fantastic. You do love to see that. You saw the green haze around that skill bar. That means he's getting the communication skill faster. So, we've just acquired the communication skill. Talking is a huge step for any toddler. Communication skill teaches toddlers more advanced socials. Improve it by talking with others. So talking to these big toys is the quickest way to gain the communication skill. It's very quick. We talked to him, 5 times and we've reached level 2 of the communication skill, which says Bob can now hug and hit others. He can also learn animals from flashcards with adults. So now that we've reached level 2, when we click on the dinosaur, now we have the option to hit or to hug him. We obviously don't want to teach our child to hit things. That's not what we do. We can hug or babble, which will gain the communication skill. But other ways to gain the communication skill is by going and just talking to, like babbling at Leon. We can do that. We can hug him. All of these interactions between him and a parent or him and another sim. It doesn't have to be a parent. If he has other siblings, totally fine. That sounded like you said dada then. That was so cute. So that is working towards gaining the communication skill. Oh, they just became good friends. That's wonderful. We also have, from a parent's point of view, teach to talk as an option. If we click on Bob and we go more options, friendly, activities, and teach to talk. That's an option. Also in the flashcards, we can teach him animals now that he's at level 2 of the communication skill. But let's go teach to talk for a minute.
You draz voompa, friends to bay.
So you can see with this one, we do have the skill bar above his head and the communication icon there. He's letting us know that it is the communication skill that is being boosted by his happy mood. Now, I will just say, if you don't want to gain your toddler skills all the way to level 5, that's fine. But I do recommend gaining them to level 3 if you can't go all the way to level 5. Because level 3 is pretty much when they learn the task that they're doing. For example, when we get to level 3 of communication, he's going to be able to talk. When we get to movement level 3, that's when they're able to competently walk. When we get to potty level 3, it means that our sim is going to be potty trained. He's not going to have to learn to potty. He can go potty. So I do just recommend getting to level 3 of all the skills if you can't get to level 5. So this is gaining quite nicely, but it's still not as fast as talking to the toys, the big toys. But it is 2:04 in the afternoon. I'm actually just going to get Bob to have a quick little nap because he's very tired. So I'm going to get him to have a nap on his bed. Depending on how well rested your toddlerinos are, they may not need a nap during the day. So he's going to climb onto his bed. And he's going to curl up into a little ball and fall asleep on his bed. It's adorable. There we go. Have a good nap, my guy. We'll see you once you wake up.
2 hours later.
Mr. Bob is awake. Good job, my guy. I'm going to get Bob to toddle his way out into the lounge room, which is going to work on his movement skill. We've already started gaining the basics of the movement skill. Very, very basic. But just having your toddler sims walk around the house is going to gain the movement skill. We can do other things to gain the movement skill as well. By clicking on Bob, we have the option to wander, which means he's going to wander around the house for a little while and even outside maybe, and that will gain his movement skill. Also, taking his clothes off will gain the movement skill. I'm going to have Natalie click on Bob, go to more choices, friendly, up to activities. We have play here. Play is an interaction. It's so cute. I'm just gonna have to show you. It does gain the movement skill and it does gain it quite quickly. I believe this is the quickest way to gain the movement skill for the base game. All right, here we go. The play interaction. That is so cute. That is one of my favorite little interactions of the entire game. I love it. So he did get to 49% of level 1 of movement with that. And also with that, he has gained the energized mood here. We've got this mood that says revved up from playing. It's fun to roughhouse. It almost feels like anything is possible. So if we were to do that play interaction again now, or have him go wander or take his clothes off, that would gain quicker because he is actually energized. We can also do stacking on the blocks, which I might actually do really quickly right now. It doesn't look like a whole lot though, but it is actually gaining the movement skill, as we can see here with the little shoes icon, and the white haze around the bar lets us know that the energized mood is boosting that skill gain. Let's just maybe have him take his clothes off though. I've never had a toddlerino do that before. Is he just gonna run around with his clothes off? And it is, as we can see here, gaining the movement skill while he's doing it. We have a moodlet that says, why wear clothes from taking off clothes? Clothes are silly. Being naked is aces. He is in fact walking around outside with no clothes on. There we go, and he's just got back into his clothes as he's finished that interaction. So we are nearly at level 2 of the movement skill. I'm going to get him to wander now, just do some wandering around while we're feeling this energized mood. Here we go, he's just going to go for a walk around with his clothes on this time. Okay, with his clothes on. There we go. Bob's just got to level 2 of the movement skill. He can now climb stairs. So if you're living in a house that has stairs, he can climb them now when they get to level 2. He can also play wrestle with an adult, which is what we were doing just before. But he can actually ask the adult to play. Whereas before, only the adult could ask him to play. Now he can ask the adult. But having a look at Mr. Bob's needs. Oh my goodness, we're going to need to go potty and have some food and go to sleep. He's very tired. I've been neglecting his needs. Let's get that sorted. We're going to potty train Bob really quick. Hopefully with this potty, we'll get to level 2 of potty. That would be amazing because then he's going to be able to go potty on his own, like I mentioned just before. I'm having a little bit of an emergency with Bob. He is now angry because he's hangry and he's also tired. So I was going to show you how to feed a toddler in the high chair, how that works, but I think I'm just going to have an emergency feed real quick. He's so close to level 2 of potty. I don't think he's going to make it though. I think he's going to be just below it. Yep, 3% away from level 2. That's fine. We'll get to level 2 tomorrow. But what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm going to open our fridge. I'm going to grab this serving of garden salad and I'm going to put it over here next to this chair. I'm going to get Bob to click on that and grab a serving. He'll be able to grab a serving and sit on this chair. I'm hoping that's where he's going to go. Just sit on this chair, my guy. They can't grab the food from the fridge themselves. You have to grab the bowl out and they can grab from the bowl and then sit down. And this is the way that I generally do it anyway because it's just easier for me to grab the food than to have them sit in the high chair, then grab the food from the fridge and then he gets angry because he's stuck in the high chair. It's just easiest to do it this way, but I will show you how to feed from the high chair maybe in the morning when he's not hangry. All right, he's just finished his dinner and he's extremely tired. He is exhausted. We are going to put him to sleep now. By having Bob click on the bed, he can go to sleep. He can also nap, but he can go to sleep. You can do night-night, which is an interaction where the parent sim will pick up the child, put him in the bed and tuck him in for the night. Or if we go from perhaps the parent's perspective and click on the bed, you can read him to sleep. And I generally do read Bob to sleep because reading him to sleep is going to work on the imagination skill for him. So we're going to read Bob to sleep. It's very cute. And here we are reading Bob to sleep. You can see he's got this little thought bubble icon above the skill bar here, which lets us know it's the imagination skill that is being gained. Because he's not in a playful mood, he's not gaining it fast, but he is gaining it nonetheless.
Beanie Mobsy. Arab Roop.
And there we go. Bob has just fallen asleep. That was so cute. And also he's acquired the imagination skill. Toddlers with imagination play in their own world. Imagination skill teaches toddlers to read and create fantastical worlds with their toys. Gain imagination skill by playing with toys and dolls, listening to music, or looking at toddler books.
The following day.
I am a little bit concerned because his bladder is in the red. He's still tired, but he really needs to go potty. If you leave the bladder need go for too long, our toddlers are going to go potty in their nappy, and we don't want that when we're potty training, okay? So I'm kind of feeling like I need to wake him up in order to get him potty trained. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get Leon to come and grab him and just potty train him really quickly. There we go. Reached potty level 2. Bob can now use the potty chair on his own. Clever boy. What a clever kiddo. All right, but now Bob has finished going potty. He is hungry, but he's not hangry yet. So I'm going to get Leon to put Bob in the high chair. We can give food to Bob, so we can choose from this list of things of what we would like to give Bob. Maybe I'll give him some cereal. Why not? Let's give him some cereal. And you see he's putting the cereal down on the high chair, and then he's going to grab Bob to go and put Bob in the high chair so Bob can eat the cereal. Well, now Bob's going to eat that cereal. Maybe he's not gonna eat that cereal. Bob! Excuse you, Bob? Excuse you, Bob. Wow, okay, no worries. Well, maybe we'll give something else to Bob then. Maybe he'll like some animal crackers. I can't believe that, Bob. You just created such a mess. He was like, no, I don't want that. Oh my goodness. Please want the animal crackers this time, Bob. But the good thing for us is having him absolutely smash that bowl out of the way, put him in a playful mood. Said food is fun from eating food. It's squishy, it's messy, and it flings good. Food is a great joy. Meaning that we can now, while he's in a playful mood, gain the imagination skill with him. So I'm going to get him to play dolls with the dollhouse. So you can see now that he's in a playful mood, we have the imagination icon here, and we have a purple haze around the skill bar letting us know that it is being boosted by his playful mood. Now, if you have another child sim or another toddler sim or even an adult, they can join in playing dolls, and they'll play dolls together.
Only turd!
Whoa, Natalie. Okay, maybe Natalie shouldn't be playing dolls, my goodness. You got some deep-seated anger there, my girl. Another way to gain the movement skill is by having him come and play with one of these toys that we have, just any of the toys that you can buy or that you can get from a toy box. And as he sits on his bed and starts playing with it, very, very cute. We have the little skill bar showing here with the imagination icon. And you saw before that we read him to sleep, which gained the imagination skill, but you can also just have a book be read to him. You can just read a toddler book when he's not going to sleep as well to gain the imagination skill. And honestly, reading the toddler book does gain the skill pretty quickly. I think it's the best way to gain the imagination skill. So we've reached imagination skill level 2. Bob can now look at the pictures in toddler books and play with others at the dollhouse. So Bob can ask others to play at the dollhouse with him. He's getting a little bit lower in his hygiene though, so I'm going to get Miss Natalie to give him a bath. We'll just give him a normal bath this time and see what happens. So this time he doesn't need to sit in the little chair that he had as an infant because he's a bigger kid. He can kind of just sit in the bath like normal. Very cute. Aside from that, it's the same interactions pretty much that we were seeing before. Just some splashing, some scrubbing, some rubber duckies, all that fun stuff. Now, I've just realized that I completely forgot to show you the calendar for how long we have Bob as a toddler for. You'll see it's Saturday today. We aged him up yesterday, Friday, and it is Friday next week that Bob will have his birthday. So Sims are toddlers for a week in game on normal lifespan. As Bob learns more things, like learns to talk and all of that, he can just do things, all sorts of things from his own interactions. He can show a toy to Leon, he can snuggle with him, he can still babble, he can talk about his favorite color, all sorts of different things that can be done just from Bob's point of view while he learns all of these skills. Look at this though, Bob going potty on his own. Because he's level 2, he doesn't need parental assistance anymore. He's a clever kid, he's got it. I completely forgot to mention that for Toddlerinos, we do also have the Wabbit Tablet. The Wabbit Tablet is a tablet for Toddlerinos. You can give your Toddlerinos screen time. There's 4 different apps that go towards gaining different skills. So watching toddler videos will go towards gaining the communication skill, playing SimShape will go towards the thinking skill, playing Blick Block Baby will go towards the movement skill, and playing Draw with Llama will go towards the imagination skill. If you are feeling overwhelmed by trying to gain these skills for toddlers every other way that I have shown you, the Wabbit Tablet can be a handy tool because your toddlers are just going to sit down for hours and just gain these skills through whichever app you have chosen, right? But if you want the full experience, I don't recommend using the Wabbit Tablet because it does take a lot longer to gain all of these skills than all of the methods that I've shown you in this video, right? So there's plenty of other quicker ways to gain these skills for your toddlerinos that are just more hands-on, which is parenting, right? Just if you want to gain the skills quickly for your kids, the Wabbit Tablet is not the way to go. And also you obviously can't gain the potty skill from the Wabbit Tablet either. Okay, so when you get to your child's birthday or you get to level 3 of their skills and you decide you want to age them up, there are multiple ways we can do this. We could have a birthday party if we wanted to, and honestly, we can from the ages of being an infant all the way through the rest of their life, right? You can throw a birthday party if you want to. Maybe I will from a child to a teenager, but for today, I think we're just going to do what we did before, which is get the cake out of the fridge, pop it on the table, chuck some candles on it, and we're just going to age him up this way. Alright, this time, instead of helping him blow out the candles, I'm just going to get Bob to blow out the candles on his own. So happy birthday to Bob once again. Good job, my guy. You blew them all out by yourself, you clever kiddo. And with that being said, Bob, he has aged up into a child. Now, I admittedly did not get him to level 3 of any of the skills. So because I didn't give him the well-rounded toddler experience, we did not get a bonus trait for him. If you get them to level 3 of all their skills, you will get a bonus trait for them. So I highly recommend doing that. But Bob has aged up. Select an aspiration and trait to replace the inquisitive trait, because as our child is now a child age, he's not a toddler anymore now that he's a child, he gets to start having dreams and things that he wants to achieve for his life, and that's really exciting. So just before we do that though, it says childhood, boundless creativity, rule breaking, and temper tantrums await. Let the games begin. And you'll see he's got motor skill level 1, social skill level 1, mental skill level 1, and creativity skill level 1. Now, excitingly for children, these are all skills that can only be gained while you are a child. So child exclusive skills, that's exciting. So with that being said, also for exclusive things related to children, they have their own aspirations that are completely different to the teenage aspirations and the adult aspirations. Completely different. So for our children, we have the creativity aspiration, which branches off into an artistic prodigy, meaning that this sim has dreams of succeeding in the arts, and this is something that they want to achieve while they're a child. And then in the mental aspect, whiz kid, this sim wants to be the smartest kid in school while they are a child. Motor skill, a rambunctious scamp. This sim wants to be playful and nimble while he's a child. And then social butterfly, we have this sim wants to talk to everyone and make friends while they are a child. So just like the aspirations that we have as an adult, these aspirations will give a list of tasks to complete for our child to feel satisfied in their child life. You don't have to complete the aspiration, but it's a pretty cool thing to do. I don't think I've ever fully completed a child aspiration, actually, so whoops, my bad. But it's fun, and it's like a little in-depth way to help to tell their story, create their personality. So maybe I'll go the creativity aspiration. And as for traits, all of the traits that are available from teen to elders can be used for a child sim and older. Very, very exciting. But I'm going to randomize a trait and let's see what Bob's first trait is going to be. He's going to be an outgoing sim. These sims gain powerful moodlets from friendly socialization, have their social need decay quickly, and gain more negative moodlets when their social need is low. Okay, so we've got to keep on top of his social need. That's fine for Mr. Bob, because there he is. He's a child now. Bob's entire world has just opened up really well and truly. Having a look at him down in the corner here, his icon now to reflect that he is a child. Super exciting. So Bob doesn't need his parents' help for things anymore. He's a child. He can do all that stuff by himself. We've just got to make sure that he's now doing well at school, because school comes into play. We've got to keep on top of his needs. And then if you want to go down the route of doing the aspiration that comes with your child's life, doing that, totally fine. We might do a couple of those tasks. That's fine. So a lot of the things that Bob can now do are what teens and adults can do. They can interact with every single object in this room. They can watch the TV on their own. They can read books on their own. They can use the toilet and the shower and all that stuff on their own. They have that kind of functionality. There are some things they can't do. Like they can't cook any food, but they can eat leftovers from the fridge. So it's not all of a sudden life and death for this sim, because this sim can take care of a lot of that for himself. But it is Sunday at 8:16 a.m. and if we have a look in here, we now have a school tab from Mr. Bob. Class starts in 24 hours for him tomorrow, 8 a.m. Monday morning. He's going to go off to school. Now, just like the career meter when our Sims have a job, which I have mentioned in a previous The Sims 4 for Beginners video, we have a performance bar here. You'll see that his performance is currently average. We want to work on getting this little arrow to the top here in order for him to gain a grade at school, because at the moment he is a grade school C student. We would love for him to become a B student and ultimately an A student before he ages up into a teenager, because that's going to work on making him a more well-rounded sim. You don't have to. If you want to cause a bit of chaos, see what happens if you can get your sim down a grade, down to a D grade. I don't actually know what happens. I've never had a child sim fail school. I've never done that before, so I have no idea. Play around with that if that's something you're interested in. Ways to have your sim, I guess, not do well at school is by not having them do their homework and maybe even not attending school is probably another way to have your sim do badly at school. But in order to gain this bar into the green, to have the gold tick of approval to let us know he's going to become a B student, there are some things that we need to do. We have grade tasks. We have to get one of his skills to level 2, and we have to also complete his homework. So if we go into his inventory, because now he has an inventory, we do have this grade school homework here. That is his homework book. If we click do homework on that, he's going to sit down at the table with his homework and he is going to do that. Now, importantly, he doesn't have to do that on his own. He will sit here and do it on his own. But if we have one of our parents click on him, we have the help with homework option, and that means that Leon is going to stand there and kind of point things out for him, and it's going to make him able to complete his homework quicker. He also gains this moodlet that says being tutored from being tutored. You learn so much more when someone older helps you with your homework. Very, very cute. But I am going to look at the calendar now just while he's doing his homework. So having a look, we have 2 weeks with him as a child in order to get him hopefully to an A student and living his best child life, completing the aspiration if that's something you want to do, making friends and all of that stuff. Totally fine. We have 2 weeks to do that before he ages up into a teenager. And there we go. Bob has now completed his homework for the day. So if we go back to his school tab down here, it says homework complete. So now in order to get him closer to becoming a B student at school, we need to get him to level 2 of a skill. But really quickly, let's jump into Create a Sim and give him maybe a little makeover for his child life by clicking on the dresser in the parents' bedroom. All right, Bob, we have a whole range of new hairstyles for you. I do kind of like this one actually that I have selected. I think it's very, very cute. So I'm going to go with that one. We do have some options here that come with the base game. Fantastic. We do also have some pants that come with the base game too. Not many, but there's some. And we do have some full body outfits that come with the base game as well. So what should I put you in today, my guy? Maybe I'll go with these overalls, right? We'll kick it back to when he was a toddler. It's like reminiscent of when he was a toddlerino. All right, Bob, there you are, looking very cute. Now, I just really quickly want to have a look at his skills panel. So, like I mentioned before, we have the creativity, the mental, the motor, and the social skills. These are all exclusive to child sims, and they can do a whole host of different tasks to complete these skills, just like toddlers could. So, having a look at creativity, we do have the dollhouse that we already have. We've got a toy, like we mentioned before. Playing with those things will work on the creativity skill for him. We also have a couple of other options for him as well, which I'll share in a moment. For the mental skill, we do have things like doing homework can work on the mental skill. And then there's a whole slew of other interactions that we can do as well. For the motor skill, I'm gonna have to show you what gains them. And for the social skill, social interactions, like you would guess, like talking with other Sims will gain the social skill. Specifically, if we see a social interaction that has this little icon of the mouth with the speech bubble next to it, that's going to work on the social skill. There's one, we don't have it yet, I've just checked, but talking about school, you'll see that come up in social interactions, and I guess it's because he probably hasn't been to school yet that he can't do it yet. It'll have this little icon next to it that will work on the social skill. We do also have the big toys. Talking to that and playing with that will also work on the social skill, and there's a couple of other ways as well. So with that being said, let's get started looking at some of those things. While he's feeling happy, maybe we'll have a look at some of the social interactions, right? We do have computer. If we go chat in kids chat room here, you can see it has the little social icon there. If we click on that, he's going to come and sit and chat on a kids chat room, and that will gain the social skill for him. There we go. It's like instant messenger. It takes me back to the days of MSN Messenger. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm showing my age, but it's fine. And there we go, it is actually gaining the social skill. So we've already seen what talking to the dinosaur looks like thanks to him being a toddler. We already know the basics of talking to other Sims, so the only other way to gain the social skill is by in the mirror, apparently. Is it practicing speech in the mirror, maybe? I'm not entirely sure. It is, and this one is exciting. So talking in the mirror, you can see it's gaining the social skill for him, but it's also gaining the charisma skill at the same time. See, for children, skills get broken down into two different categories. We have the fundamentals, which the social skill is a fundamental skill, but then there are specific skills that can be gained as a part of the fundamentals. So charisma is one that is being gained specifically as a part of the fundamental social skill. It's quite in-depth, really, and very clever. So he's gaining both the social skill and the charisma skill at the exact same time. But let's move on to the mental skill. So just like for an adult Sim, I'm going to have him come and ponder moves here, right, on the chess table. Pondering moves is going to get him into a focused mood, which is going to gain the mental skill faster. So let's do that really quickly. Beautiful. He's now in a focused mood. So also one of the ways to gain the mental skill is just by playing chess. And excitingly, as a part of playing chess, he's working on the mental skill for his fundamental mental skill, but it is also gaining the logic skill as a part of the fundamental mental skill. Okay, very cool. Now we are just in build by really quickly because I realized that I needed to change his bed from a toddler bed. So I'm going to delete this bed and we're going to go and grab this bed out of the inventory because he can sleep in a normal bed now, and that's very exciting. But I did also want to mention in the kids room section, we have this violin icon here that says kids activities. All of these things that you see here, except for the snack bag, that's like a little school bag. I'm going to grab one of them actually, very cute. We're going to put that up there. But all of these things that you see here are things that will go towards gaining skills for our child Sims. So I'm going to grab this Junior Wizard starter set. This is like a little potions lab chemistry set thing, and that does go towards gaining the mental skill. So we're going to come and experiment on that really quickly. Thank you. And you'll see he's going to make some potions, mix some potions. It is gaining the mental skill, but it is also working on the logic skill at the same time. There are all sorts of other things that our child Sims can do that teens and older can do as well. Like at the backyard observatory, he can observe the sky, all sorts of stuff. Another thing that our child Sims can do that I can't do right at the moment because we don't have a fishing spot in our area, but our child Sims can go fishing and it will work on the mental skill and on the fishing skill at the same time. Very exciting. All right, but now we're going to talk about the motor skill. And for this, I'm going to ask you to look around your Sims world. In your neighborhood somewhere, there generally will be a piece of playground equipment, maybe at a little park. Like over here, we have this little space-themed playground equipment. If we get him to come and either play Space Explorer on this or Spacewalk, that's going to go towards gaining his motor skill. You can buy this kind of playground equipment for your home lot. There's also a pirate ship playground, and there's also a set of monkey bars. You can buy any of that stuff for your home lot, but it does take up a lot of space. You can use one for free at the park as well. But Bob, look at you, you're playing. It's very cute. So you'll see he does have this little like motor icon. That's the symbol for the motor skill. And as he's playing on the playground, he's gaining that skill and now he's in an energized mood. So he's gaining that skill quicker thanks to the energized mood. And actually something I've just been keeping an eye on is in our relationships panel. You'll see there's another child here, Juliet Landgrab. We haven't been actively talking to her, but we have started to gain a relationship because we are both playing on the playground together. That's just so cute and I love it. Thank you. But heading back to our home lot, our Sims can swim. Swimming in the pool will also work on the motor skill. And then another way that our Sims can gain the motor skill. If we have a computer, they can practice typing on the computer, which I wonder if that's like touch typing. I remember the days of touch typing. The good old days. It doesn't look very much like touch typing to me, but it's fine. It's working on gaining the motor skill, which he's at level 2 of, and it just says Bob's motor skill is improving nicely. Fantastic. Good job. But there's one more skill we haven't explored, and that is the creativity skill. Now, we know about the dollhouse thanks to watching him play with it as a toddler. We know about playing with toys, like the little toy, koala toy. I don't know where it's gone, but it's fine. We know what that looks like thanks to him playing with it as a toddler. But as a child, we have a couple of more options, right? We've actually got a little child's violin here that he can practice. So it is also gaining the creativity skill as part of his fundamental skills and the violin skill as well. We can see here, Leon, he's got the frayed nerves moodlet from badly played music. Hearing instruments played poorly is distressing to the most stoic of us. And poor Mr. Bob, he's feeling slightly embarrassed from musical insecurity from badly played music. It's hard to improve your musical abilities when your playing irritates everyone else around you. Oh, Bob, don't worry about anyone else. I think you're doing great, sweetie. There we go. He's acquired the violin skill, which is amazing. He's also reached creativity level 2. Fantastic. But we're going to start needing to take care of some of Bob's needs. He can go to the toilet on his own because he's a big kid now. He can also grab leftovers from the fridge, totally fine, because he's a big kid now. Look at him go. Proud of him. Which, by the way, I can now get rid of the high chair and I can grab another one of these dining chairs. He can sit at the dining table like a big boy in a chair now. Look at you go, Bob. Proud of you. Alright, so to boost the creativity skill quicker, we're going to need to get Bob feeling inspired, which he can do by taking a thoughtful shower, just like adults can. Mr. Bob here, he is now feeling inspired. So while he's feeling inspired, we do have, oh, there's the little koala toy, by the way, from before. I found him. Anyway, it's fine. We have this little creativity table here. Here, he can draw things. He can draw shapes or draw a vehicle. And with him being inspired, it's going to work on his creativity skill. It's going to boost it faster. I really love this concept for a couple reasons. Firstly, it's a great way to gain the creativity skill for your children. But secondly, they create these pictures, right? And it's just so cute to watch. And thirdly, once they finish making a picture, you can hang it up on the wall. And I just love like decorating homes with the kids' paintings and drawings that they do. It's so cute. So you can see he does have the little light bulb with the stars around it, indicating it's the creativity skill that is being gained. The blue haze around the skill bar lets us know it's being boosted by his inspired mood. Now, for his aspiration, we already have an activity table. That's what this is that he's drawing on. For this part, he's got to draw 2 pictures while inspired. We've already done 1. This is going to be the second. So once he finishes this picture, we're actually going to complete this first level of this aspiration for him. There are another 2 levels after this. There we go. He's completed active imagination of the artistic prodigy Aspiration because he has finished this little drawing of a vehicle, which is amazing, and we can put it up on the wall. So cute. I love it. So if we were to complete the next level, we'd have to get to level 5 of the creativity skill and play with 3 toys. Toys can be dollhouses, toy boxes, stuffed animals, or playground equipment. I don't think we're going to do that for this video, but if we were to complete his aspiration, he would get a bonus trait being creatively gifted. Creatively gifted Sims build adult creative skills faster. So that can be quite handy for things like getting a piano, guitar, violin, painting skills. Those creative skills can be gained faster if they complete this as a child. But it's 10 to 9 p.m. on Sunday. We need Mr. Bob to be going to sleep because tomorrow he's going to school. We need him to have a well-rested night's sleep and have him feeling as best he can going off to school tomorrow. So off Bob goes to bed. Good night, my little dude.
The next morning.
All right, 6 o'clock in the morning. If we have a look at his school panel, he's got class in 2 hours, which should be just enough time for us to come use the toilet and have a shower and have something to eat before school today. So as far as going to school goes, I think it's ideal to have your sim as well rested as possible, pretty much in as good a mood as possible. So eaten and bathed and fully energized, even having their fun level full before going to school. Social, not so much. Social is the only one that I feel like can let go because they will gain a little bit of their social at school. They will also eat at school if you haven't had time to have your child sims eat before school. Don't worry, they will eat at school. They will also use the toilet at school. They just probably won't gain fun at school unless you tell them to, which I'll get to that in a second. With that being said, it is now 7:05. We just got this message to say school for Bob starts in about an hour. Very exciting, my guy. Alright, but it's 8 o'clock now, and as you can see, Bob's going to go off to grade school, so we're going to follow him really quickly. As he's going to fade away, he's gone off to school on his own. If we have a look down here at his icon, it says he's at school, and we have this little icon here of two people holding hands that says work normally. If we click on that, we've got options for things that we would like for him to do while he's at school. So our sim is currently working normally, all good. We have the option to have him make friends, which will lower his school performance. Remember that this bar here is his school performance, so having him make friends is going to drag this down. But it also says it fills his social need. So if your sim does have low social need, really low social need, they can make friends while at school to gain the social need a little bit. He can leave school early, which I don't really know why you would want to do that. It doesn't say anything about negatively impacting school performance, but I feel like it probably would, and I just don't know why you'd want to do that. We have the option to have him study hard, which will increase his school performance. It will reduce his fun need, though, and there's a chance for him to come home feeling stressed because he's worked so hard at school today. It does give him the best chance of becoming a B student today, though, so that's probably what I'm going to get him to do, because having a look at his fun need is right up the top, so it's going to take ages for him to actually get down into the red for his fun needs. So I feel like we could have him work hard at school today. The last option is slacking off. It will lower his school performance, but it does increase his fun needs. So if we need to throughout the day, if his fun is super low and it's making him really upset, angry, uncomfortable, have him slack off for just a little bit just to raise his fun need a little bit. It does offer a chance of granting him a happy moodlet when he gets home from school. We are going to have him study hard though, because I would really love for him to become a B student today. Now it says here he is studying hard, and if we have a look over at the school performance in a second, we should see this little white arrow move because he is studying hard at school. And importantly, he is at school until 3 o'clock this afternoon. Standard school hours, 8 till 3. I mean, school standard for where I am anyway. We actually started school at 9 o'clock where I am. There we go. You can see it's moved up to the middle. We have this little green arrow to show us that it is gaining that school performance nicely. So now we've just got to wait until he gets home from school. We can't really do anything else for him until he gets home today. And something I will just mention as well is once your sims become child sims, the age of children, they no longer need to go to daycare if their parents are out of home. They can take care of themselves at home. Now, I will just quickly mention now, if you think that perhaps raising a child is a little bit too easy, there is a game pack called the Parenthood game pack that enhances the gameplay. And I hate that I even have to mention this, but it does. There's things like teaching your children how to be responsible, teaching them empathy, teaching them conflict resolution, teaching them manners. All sorts of those things come into play. You can also do things like work on school projects to help gain extra credit for school. It just enhances the gameplay a little bit. Again, only if you are really, really interested in this family gameplay, I would recommend buying the Growing Together expansion pack for infants and buying the Parenthood game pack for toddlers, children, and teenagers. All right, Bob is home from school. We get this message to say Bob is done with school for the day. He is doing satisfactory work, but his teachers at Landgrab Elementary think he could easily improve with just a little bit of extra effort. And he got that message because he did not become a B student today. That's totally fine. It does take time in order to raise the school grade. We did get to this far. His performance is at excellent, so that means that tomorrow he should become a B student. But in order to make sure of that, we need to do his homework for today. If we were to get him to a B student today, though, it would say Bob has been working hard and is now a grade school B student. Great job. And then if we were to have a look at the grade school B student tab here, in order for him to become an A student, he'd have to reach level 4 of a skill. That is the requirement to become an A student, and obviously working on homework as well. So I don't know why it's not showing, but we actually, yes, it is now. We have level 3 of the creativity skill. We could get him to level 4 tonight, though, if I were to do that, but for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to show you what would happen. You make it through a C student to a B student, and then you get him to level 4 of a skill, you get him to do his homework, and then he actually gets to an A student. So if he were to come home from school as an A student, it would say Bob has been working hard and is now a grade school A student. Great job. And here down in the grade school tab, it says grade school A student, and he doesn't have any further tasks to complete except for him to do his homework, and that's only just to keep on top of homework, which is something I feel is a good routine to have anyway. But as he becomes an A student, it's probably getting towards the end of his life stage. We've probably done a little bit more towards his aspiration. He's probably made some friends and learnt some skills. With that, we can throw him a birthday party in order to age him up into a teenager. You can wait until his birthday if you like, or if you feel like he's had a good enough childhood experience that he's ready to become a teenager, you can do that. Now, you can do it the same way I have done it before, by grabbing the cake out of the fridge and just getting him to blow out the candles, but this time I think we're going to throw a birthday party for him because he's a child now, and that would be nice to throw a birthday party. So I'm going to go into my Sims phone, into the social tab, and we're going to plan a social event. And we have the option to throw a birthday party right here. So it says gold level rewards include a new bedroom object. Very nice. It says birthday parties come but once a year and they are an event that shouldn't be missed. Bring cake, a gift, and a smile. Happy birthday. Very exciting. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have our birthday sim be our child, Mr. Bob. And then we're going to have some guests. We can't invite anyone because it's Natalie that's throwing the party and she doesn't know anyone else. So we're just going to have Leon and Natalie be the guests. It's fine. We could, if we wanted to, invite a caterer, a mixologist, or an entertainer over. That would be totally fine. And we are going to have this birthday party here. Everyone's going to get changed into their party wear, which I just realized I didn't give a party wear to Bob, but that's okay. Look at him in his little acid wash jeans. I love that for you. So with that being said, we now have this list of tasks to complete in order to throw a successful birthday party. So I'm going to firstly get the cake out of the fridge, and we're going to get him to blow out the candles because that is the objective, right? The objective is for him to have a happy birthday party, have him blow out the candles. So here we go. You can make a wish or you can blow out the candles, and I'm going to maybe get him to make a wish this time. He's thinking about it, making a wish. Very cute. And there we go. With that being said, Bob has now aged up into a teenager. So teenagedom, romantic travails, sweaty gym shorts, and hormonal upheavals await. Best buckle those boots. The ride starts here. Now, very excitingly, you'll see he has kept his outgoing trait because the trait that he got as a child will carry through with him for the rest of his life. We also have the option to gain another personality trait, which I might randomize right now. A goofball, no worries. So he's going to be outgoing and a goofball for the rest of his life. And as a teenager, we get to choose an aspiration. You'll be seeing they are all the same aspirations that you have as an adult, because this is where he's starting to set up for maybe the rest of his life. Well, he's been doing some creative stuff, so maybe we'll have him do some creativity, a creativity aspiration. We could have him do musical genius, painter extraordinaire, or best-selling author. And maybe I'm thinking maybe we'll do musical genius for Bob. Bob Bullock being a musical genius sounds good to me. So with that being said, the main goal was to blow out the candles, and we have done that. So we now have a bronze level birthday party, and now we kind of need to achieve all of these tasks in order to reach a gold level birthday party. There we go. He's just told 2 jokes. Play a game with the birthday sim. Okay, you want to play some chess? Maybe we'll play some chess with Natalie with the birthday sim. Thank you very much. There we go. We played a game. That's totally fine. We're having drinks. I mean, Mr. Bob, he's just had a drink. That's fantastic. And we have just had Natalie's just finished a glass of milk, and we're going to get Leon to maybe come and have a drink as well. What drink can you have? Maybe you can just have some orange juice, my guy. Totally fine. Beautiful. That's 3 drinks that have been had. We've got to eat the cake. Well, I mean, let's do it then. Beautiful. We've reached a silver event, so the next thing we've got to do is have Sims dance on a stereo at the same time. I don't even think we've got a stereo. That's fine. I can buy one. So in the living room section, we've got this audio section here. I'm going to grab maybe the Lindsay Smart speaker because we can chuck that just on a counter in the kitchen. Totally fine. And there we go. We're all dancing. That's so good. Have an adult make a toast. Look, I'm not really sure how to make a toast, but you get the idea. We're really close to having a gold birthday party, so I think I'm just going to cancel out of this birthday party right now. Totally fine. We're going to get a silver medal, and we got some festive balloons. Fantastic. Let's have a look at them for having a silver medal. Nice. That's very cute, actually. All right, but now Bob is a teenager, right? We really kind of need to give him a makeover. He's wearing a hat that's custom content. I need to get him out of that. So let's go and plan your outfits, my guy. Alright, so I've decided to go with this for a Bob's teenage look. Very cute. I love the plaid. And I have given him an outfit for all of the different outfit categories this time. Just because teenagers are kind of like mini versions of adults in The Sims 4, honestly. So I felt like it was appropriate to give him an outfit for every different outfit category. And speaking of teenagers being kind of like mini versions of adults, I showed you all of the skills that adults can learn in the base game in the last Sims 4 for Beginners video, and teenagers can learn all of those same skills. So I don't really feel like I need to show you all of those skills that can be learned because I kind of already showed you in the last video. I'm just going to pick one and go with it, because having a look at his school panel now, he's a high school B student. Because he started his teenage years as an A student from being a child, he is now a B student in high school. In order to get him to an A student, we've got to get him to level 3 of a skill and do his homework tonight. So he does have class in 14 hours tomorrow at 8 a.m. So that's exciting. I just need to pick a skill, and I'm trying to think, what is the quickest skill to gain? I feel like logic is a good one, and he's already halfway to level 2, so we could probably do that for tonight. But there is something else that I really quickly want to mention as well. Furthermore, in saying that teenagers are kind of like mini versions of adults in The Sims 4, and also kind of like in real life, our teenage Sims can get a part-time job. So if we head into Bob's phone here, we have the business section here, and we have find a job. He can get a part-time job that he can do after school or before school, depending on what the job is, or on weekends. We have 5 part-time jobs available in the base game for him. The first one is a babysitter, which he would do from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. on the weekends, so on Saturdays and Sundays. Then there's a barista, which he would do from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. every single weekday morning. So that would happen before school. We could also have him become a fast food employee, which would happen from Tuesday to Saturday nights, 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. He could also be a manual laborer, which he would work from 7 a.m. till 12 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And then the last one is a retail employee, which he could do from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. from Tuesday to Saturday nights. I might get him to work as a fast food employee. I feel like that's a pretty standard, I hate to say entry-level job, but it's a job that you do see a lot of teenagers in real life starting out as, is going into fast food or going into retail, working at a grocery store, all sorts of those kinds of things. So I feel like him being a fast food employee would be kind of appropriate. So that means he's going to have work tomorrow night at 5 p.m. He's entered the fast food employee career. Bob is now a fry cook at Hamburger Man. He starts Tuesday at 5 p.m, which is exciting. So now having a look at his school/career panel, we do have his school stuff here. We can click on this little arrow at the top. That will make it hide away, where we can now see his work abilities as well. So he gets $18 an hour. He currently has 3 vacation days available. His promotion requirements in order to get him promoted to a food service cashier, which is the second level of this part-time job career. There's 3 levels for the part-time jobs. We'd have to get him to reach level 2 of the cooking skill, which I'm probably not going to get him to do. That's fine, because we've got a lot of other things to do tonight instead, like doing his homework. So having a look at his inventory here, we do have homework here. This blue book is the teenager's homework. So once your child becomes a teenager, you can officially delete this grade school homework from their inventory, because they won't need that one anymore. As they're a teenager, they use this blue book instead. We're going to get him to do his homework. And just like when he was a child, we can have an adult sim come and help with his homework so that it will actually get completed quicker. And he does have a very focused mood from being tutored once again while he's being helped with his homework. Alright, so with that being said, Bob has completed his homework for the day. He is feeling very focused, which puts us in a great position for him to maybe learn 1.5 skills of the logic skill before he goes to bed tonight, so that maybe he could become an A student at school tomorrow. That would be pretty amazing. Now, something to mention just while he's gaining the logic skill is teenagers can feel a little bit hollow in the Sims 4 base game. Like I mentioned, they're kind of just mini versions of adults in the Sims 4 base game. A pack called High School Years. High School Years greatly improves teenagers' gameplay from things like being able to go to prom. Your teenage Sims can go to prom in High School Years. We can follow our teenage Sims to school, go to classes with them, have them take exams. They can join after-school programs like the cheerleading squad, like a chess club, even down to the fact that when your teenage Sims have aged up into a young adult, they can then attend graduation. That doesn't happen in the base game. None of what I've just mentioned happens in the base game. If you like this family style gameplay and you want to have the best teenage experience that you can with all of those experiences on top of what we are experiencing here, the High School Years pack would be a really good pack to download for you. So I hate promoting. I'm not endorsed by EA. They have no idea who I am. I have tried. I've applied to be a part of the EA creator program and have been rejected. So it's fine. I get it. They don't really know who I am, and that's totally fine. So I'm just coming at you from my experience and saying, if you enjoy family style gameplay and you want to enhance your gameplay, I highly recommend the High School Years expansion pack for teenagers, enhancing them, making them feel more like teenagers and not even just like mini adults. They can even like sneak out of the house. There's also an amazing carnival area in High School Years as well that I just personally enjoy. It is getting very late at night. I've just realized it's 11:22 p.m. on Monday. I really need Mr. Bob to go to sleep. Otherwise, he's not going to be in a good mood for school in the morning. It's totally fine.
The next day.
So honestly, we've kind of just experienced all of the gameplay that there is for teenagers in the Sims 4 base game as well. It's pretty much just working on getting them to become an A student, getting a part-time job. We will have him go to work this afternoon, so that's totally fine. We're still yet to experience that. And then it's just further on to making friends. You can even have romantic relationships as well. It's just hit 8 o'clock. We do have go to high school in his queue, but he's pretty close to getting to level 3 of logic. I'm gonna let it go for a minute. The thing is, as long as your sim gets to school before sort of 9:15, 9:30, you'll be okay for their school performance. If they go to school late, like say 9:15 to 9:30, they're going to get a call from the principal, and that's when their school performance is going to start being reduced. They're going to notice a decrease in their school performance. So if we can just get 14% more of this, 13% more of this logic skill. There we go. He's just made it to logic level 3. So now if we have a look at his school performance here, this school thing here, that should change over to level 3 in a second. There we go. Gate 1 skill to level 3 is complete. We've got homework complete. He's now at 5 to 9 going off to school. Fantastic. Off to school he goes, and because he's at school again, it's very similar to when they're at a grade school. We can get him to do all of the same things at school that we could when he was a child. I'm going to get him to study hard. I would love for him to become an A student today. I don't think it's going to happen though. It generally takes 2 days in my experience with the base game in order for Sims to become an A student, but that's fine. There we go. We have just got Bob come home from school. School is out for the day. Copperdale High School! Has it always been called Copperdale High School? No, I need my pro players to go back in their minds. Has the base game school always been called Copperdale High School? The reason I mention that is because the high school years expansion pack that I talked about before, the neighborhood is called Copperdale, and it's Copperdale High School that your Sims go to. I feel like it wasn't always Copperdale High School in the base game. I feel like they changed that once high school years came out, but I love that. Anyway, Copperdale High School is filled with B students. Bob is one of them. Maybe he should try to distinguish himself more. He did not become an A student today. He would definitely make it tomorrow. That's fine. If he had become an A student today, it would say Bob has been working hard and is now a high school A student. Great job. And the only task we would have to do is his homework. That would be fine. Bob has work in 2 hours, his part-time job. So if you do decide to get your teenage Sims to have a part-time job, it gets a little bit interesting because you've got to balance other things like their social life, like their homework, on top of going to work at their job. It's interesting, right? So we have 2 hours for him to maybe eat some food and get started on his homework before he goes to work, okay? I mean, you don't have to get him to eat. I just always prefer my Sims to go off to school and off to work in the best mood that they possibly can. Alright, I am going to get him to do his homework. We're going to get maybe Natalie to come and help him with his homework this time. He's got an hour and 15 minutes until he has to go to work. So let's see if we can get this homework done in that time. Work for Bob starts in about 1 hour. And this is exciting because this is the last bit of gameplay that I feel like I really need to show you. I mean, we could get him into a romantic relationship as well, but I've showed you how to get into a romantic relationship before. And it's the same process through a teenager. The only thing is teenagers can't woohoo. They can do everything else romantically. They just can't woohoo, and they can't propose marriage either. And look at that. Thanks to Natalie's help, we were able to get his homework done in 1 sim hour, which is amazing. So he's even got time to go to the toilet really quick before he goes to work. So good. Alright, so it's 5:01 p.m. and now we can see Bob has go to work in his queue because he's going to go to work at his job. Very nice. There he is in his little fast food uniform. Love it. Go to work at Hamburger Man, my guy. Very good. So as he goes off to that little rabbit hole here, we have him at work. We have the same options here as a normal career. He can socialize with co-workers, which will fill his social need. We can have him work normally, which he is doing already. We can have him leave early. Again, I don't know why you would want to do that. We can have him work hard, which would increase his work performance, reduces fun need and chance for a stress moodlet, or he can take it easy, which will lower his work performance, increases fun need, offers a chance of granting a happy moodlet. Having a look at his work performance, he's at an average work performance. We can't get him promoted because he doesn't have level 2 of the cooking skill. His fun needs a little bit low, so I think I'm maybe not going to get him to work hard tonight. So he is going to be at work until 9 o'clock p.m.
Later.
Alright, 9 o'clock p.m. and our Bob is home from Hamburger Man. He brought home $72 today and he did some great work too. Fantastic. So we got his performance to here. Not great, but not terrible either, so that's totally fine. So, I completely forgot to mention, by the way, looking at the calendar for Bob, because we aged him up yesterday, right? We aged him up on Monday, and we have 3 weeks with a teenage sim before they age up into a young adult. So 3 weeks with a teenager. But if you decide that he has become an A student, you've kind of got all you want out of his teenage life with him and you're ready to move on to him being a young adult, entering the proper workforce, all of that stuff, we can have a birthday party for him as well early before that day on the calendar. Happy birthday, Bob!
Yes!
Very exciting. So Bob has just aged up. We got 325 simoleons. I don't know if you saw that. We got that from his job at Hamburger Man. They get a little bonus when they carry on their job from a teenager into a young adult. Bob has aged up though, and it says young adulthood, lifelong responsibilities, burgeoning careers, and vast horizons await. Whoever said their 20s aren't a blast. Interesting, interesting. So you can see here we already have Bob's outgoing trait and his goofball trait great. We do have one more slot. So this is one of the transitions that happens from a teenager into a young adult. It's the final steps in their personality being formed, right? We're going to randomize what his last trait is going to be that he's going to carry with him for the rest of his life, and it's going to be art lover. He's an interesting sim. He's outgoing, goofball, and art lover. That's very interesting. And we are also, for the final time, deciding what his lifelong dreams are going to be. What is the aspiration that we are going to spend the rest of his life working towards? Oh, maybe we'll do a painter extraordinaire this time because he's an art lover, right? Maybe we'll get him to do that. Fantastic. He is still in his Hamburger Man uniform, as you may notice, because like I mentioned, he has carried that job with him into his young adult life. You can technically have a young adult sim continue on in a part-time job, right? So he still has the fry cook here, totally fine. And we can work towards that and have him earn money just from that. He's not going to earn very much money though, not enough to sustain a household. So generally at this point in my gameplay, I would then transition into a career. Aside from that, the rest of our Sim's life is what we have already explored. Things like entering a romantic relationship, getting married, starting a family of his own. The world really is Bob's oyster now that he is a young adult. He's even wearing a paint-colored shirt. Paint-splattered shirt. Perfect. I didn't plan that, I swear. But you guys, that's all I've got for this video of The Sims 4 for Beginners, all about raising children from the age of newborns all the way through teenagers as well. I hope that this video was informative for you, and I hope that maybe if you're thinking about buying an expansion pack or a game pack, that maybe if this is the kind of gameplay you're interested in, that you'll think about getting either Growing Together, Parenthood, or High School Years. If I had to pick one of those 3 packs to go with in order to enhance your gameplay, I would probably pick the Parenthood game pack, just because it covers toddlers, children, and teenagers as well. But if you want the full experience, Growing Together and High School Years are also great additions to your game. Again, not that I'm pushing you saying that you should, I'm just saying if it's something you're thinking about, that's what I would suggest. If you would like to see more of me and any more of The Sims 4 for Beginners or any other Sims content that I've got coming your way, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell next to it to be notified of every time that I upload. And if you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button down below and leave me a comment as well. And as always, for my pro simmers that are watching, any tips that I left out in this video in regards to raising kids in the base game only, if you could leave them in the comments down below, that would be amazing. And if any new beginners watching this video have any questions about raising kids, leave them in the comments down below as well. But guys, I hope you're having the greatest day ever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!